Trying to get, sorry about that. Okay guys, I am doing my normal morning routine. I can figure that out. These Japanese aprons are kind of funny. All right guys, well, sorry about the delay. Now I got the microphone on and I'm just going to be doing my own morning health routine today. But I thought if anybody had any questions, there's been a lot of different types of subjects that people want to talk about lately. And we can talk about both spiritual and health stuff. And just so you know, any question you want to ask, this is your time. This is a live video. So you guys have been having a lot of questions lately. And we can answer any of these questions. The first thing I'm going to do, so again, I've tried to tell you guys that everything in regards to, believe it or not, health and spirituality really go hand in hand. Now, I understand that everybody's got their different beliefs, which is usually why I don't talk about it. But the first thing I'm going to do is clean my water. I can't emphasize this enough. No matter what you believe or where you're at on this whole thing, literally, we need to clean our water, guys. Clean water. So what I'm doing here is this is a reverse osmosis filter here, and I'm going to put reverse osmosis water in my distiller. And if you don't use reverse osmosis water, you'd want to do what's called a carbon distiller, where it's a combination of the carbon filtration with the distillation. Why? Because it's the only way to clean your water. And by the way, all this stuff, I'm sorry, this is not my stuff. But you're going to see me moving a lot of things around. Isn't this cool though? Check this out. Have you guys ever seen a pepper tree? Look at that. Isn't that cool? I love spicy stuff. I think peppers are really, really good. I think they're anti-parasitic, a lot of the spicy food personally. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my morning. I just had my hydrogen. And like I said, if you guys want to ask questions, I'll answer. And thanks for all the thumbs up. Okay, somebody says, Buenos días, hermano hidrógeno. Hey, good morning, Nicho Libre. Buenos días. Christine says, hi, Greg. Christine says, was just watching your second interview with Jeff Mara. Thank you for coming back here. Oh, you're welcome. Like I said, this is a moment. This is me just doing my normal stuff. You know, this is just, there's nothing special or anything. I'm just doing my morning routines, but it helps answer people's questions. And this is my clean water that I harvest every morning. And this is because I use what's called the countertop carbon distiller. Some people were saying, is there any ones that are like automatic? I'm like, yeah, there are. There's some really big ones that they sell that are automatic, but I don't own a home. So I don't think it's a good idea for me to be buying one of those. I just have a simple countertop. Plus the countertop. Oh, by the way, let me know if you guys can hear me with the microphone. Somebody comment below, like as I walk around, tell me if you can hear me, regardless of where I'm at, to make sure this microphone is working. Yeah, so ultimately, the combination, so there really is something going on in my personal opinion. Remember, first, I'm not going to give you any medical advice. You know, I'm not going to make medical claims today. Everything today are my opinions and should not be construed as claims for or against any product or products. All right, so right now, let's keep with the clean water. Look at this thing. Look how clean that water looks. And this is ultra, ultra clean water. And I think they're putting stuff, honestly, in everything. I think they're putting in the air, they're putting in the water, they're putting in the food. And they're doing this to us for many reasons, which we can go over depending on how important it is for you guys to know this. The thing is, what can we do to fight it? And that's exactly what I'm trying to show you guys. That is literally it. I'm going to try to show you guys how to fight this the best that we can. It's making everybody sick. And it's disconnecting you spiritually. All right. Let's go ahead and put this here and turn it on. And that's it. 3 to 6 hours is what it really typically takes, and then we can move on to making breakfast. I was going to, I was going to see if you guys were interested, but I kind of thought that nobody would be interested, which is why I didn't do it. There's an orchard. Oh, you can hear me. Great, loud and clear. Awesome. I was going to an orchard and picking. Oh, look, I can show you real quick some of these. So these are all organic, never been sprayed, and there's special soil that has tons of nutrients. And I was going to record the orchard, but then I thought, you guys probably don't want to see me, showing you all these trees, but they're really awesome. There was beautiful pear trees and apple trees and plum trees and blackberries and more apple trees, 2 different types of pear trees, 1 cherry tree. Man, just so many different types. And I was going to show them to you because I thought they were so cool. But then I thought, I don't think people really want to see that. And the real secret of what's going to really help us is, yes, the clean water, but the other one is the hydrogen. These are 2 things that are just absolutely crucial during these times because we need to be protected. We don't have a lot of protection. There are certain things in our bodies that our bodies utilize to protect us. Like one of them is glutathione, one of them is vitamin D. But the most powerful thing I've ever seen for protection is hydrogen. I mean, it is a bonkers. I could give you guys examples if you've never heard of any, just to understand the power of hydrogen while I make my breakfast here. Yes, would love to see the orchard. Oh, you would? Oh, okay, wow. No, I might record some then. Most of the fruit is starting to go away, but there's still some out there. So next time I go picking, I'll record some of it. You might be the only one who wants to see that. Oh, and I just realized I'm out of powder. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab some so you guys can see what I'm using. Why do I use the powder? Okay, let's start with that. And then you guys, again, any questions you have, you can just ask them and then I'll answer those. But for right now, I'll just tell you what I'm doing. So this powder is because we know that our food is nutritionally deficient. And so knowing that, then I have to supplement it. Now, normally, if I was like I don't know what I would call it, a normal human being who's lazy, then you just want to pop a multivitamin. The problem is that the multivitamins just don't work as good. There's been research on multivitamins, and again, they just don't work that good. And so what I decided to do, this was my own little experiment because of the data. Remember, I always go off the data. And excuse me one second, because I'm opening these doors. Let the air move through. Move through here. So the body responds to food. So this is the food that I use. It's called Power Shake. And all the ingredients are food. Everything is food. And high purity, that's why it's from Purium. They're really into purity. So I put this in there. Now what I typically do, because I have this container, I just put the powder in there because it's easier than putting it in the bag they supply. And the bag they supply, I mean, this is really cool. This is one nice thing about the company. These are biodegradable bags. So that's why they do it that way. But are they the best bag? I mean, they're okay. But hey, it's better than doing all these microplastics, right? Biodegradable, awesome. Probably eat this thing. Like, dude, you can eat the bag. You might be able to, I don't know. I'm not gonna try though. Okay, so then this powder is designed to be a meal replacement. And I'm not big, I know people focus on a lot of different things when it comes to health. It's something very simple. There's a few very simple things that I focus on that really work really well. And see, check it out, guys. Pure, premium, Purium. See, that's why I do it. Okay, let's see any questions that you guys have. I guess none. I guess you guys don't have a lot of questions. If you don't have any questions, then I can just rant about my health routines, but usually it's so weird because I get a million questions over the emails. But on the lives, yeah, I get some sometimes, right? Yeah, there's, and you guys can ask about water, you can ask about hydrogen, you can ask about, I don't really want to talk too much about diet because everybody gets weird about that one. I just let people believe whatever they want to believe. Unless you guys, want to talk about that too, I guess. So the simple fact is the body responds better to food. And that's why I'm using this powder. Okay. How much do I use? I just have these big scoopers. And I've noticed that if I use 2 big scoops every single day, that the powder lasts me exactly 1 month because I have it on this 1 month order cycle where I always get my powder. And the other interesting thing is when I do the blood work, and it just seems to work perfectly. There is another thing that I use though, as you guys probably know, and I'll show you that later, the vitamin D. Vitamin D is the only thing I supplement. Beyond that, that's it. Because this powder is just food. You can call it a supplement, but it's just food. And even this powder I'm about to put in, this is just 100% turmeric or turmeric. If you guys want to read the health benefits of that, there's a ton of them. And, I like to find things here locally. And I also like to find things that are inexpensive. Like this is green matcha. This also doesn't have to go in there. It's just that I find it. And when I find these products, and this one's specifically from Japan, I would not use any from China or anything. And so, put some green matcha in there. In fact, green matcha appears to be very anti-aging. So does hydrogen, and so do a lot of these foods. And a lot of these foods are anti-parasitic too. So, okay. That's all I put in there for my powders to make the smoothies highly nutritious. If I didn't put them in there, would it still be nutritious? Yes, but we know that the food is deficient and we know that it's just not going to have enough. So that's why I do it. And if I sound a little groggy, it's because I literally did just wake up here a few minutes ago. I decided to sleep in a little bit today because I was able to. Today was kind of a little bit quieter day for me. Okay, now I'm going to put some flax seeds. In fact, something new just came out about flax seeds. It's really good. There is a lot of misconceptions about so many things about health, and that's why everybody gives you a different opinion. And personally, I used to get a little tired of it. Now I don't care because I found the information that makes not only the most sense, but it's obviously backed by science, and that's kind of the combination of those is really good. But you have to really be good at reading data, because there is sneaky data. There is such a thing as short-term research, and there's a lot of things that you can make look good in the short term. Very different than the long term. Oh, I just found. All right. Okay, guys. The first thing we're going to start with, this helps the body make nitric oxide if you want really good blood flow. Super greens. A lot of people don't like super greens, I know, but that's what I use. All right, let's see here. Somebody says, Richard says, what's the website for the powder? So the website for the powder is ishoppurium.com. If you want a discount code, I don't know if it really supports the channel, but I guess it probably does. You can use the code uprising144K. And that hopefully will give you a discount. And then they have some other really good products. The other product I really like is Apothecary. Oh my gosh, that thing is just so good. It's ridiculous. It's a great gift because you can just eat it and then it's gone. Okay, Christine says, chemical-free body cells, awesome stuff. Also in the biodegradable bags. Just haven't personally tried it yet. Yeah, that's right. Chemical-free body guy. I like that guy. Subin says, oh, hello, Greg. This is Subin. Hi, Subin. Mindy Timmer says, is the water ready to drink after inhaling? I'm going to make up voices for everybody, apparently. Or do you need to start the process over? Is the water ready to drink after inhaling? Actually, it is. Yeah. You can drink it after inhaling. Nicho Libre says, could you maybe review the protocol and steps when using diatomaceous? Fun band. Oh, an Ivor. I see. That's a really tough one. This is what I would suggest on that front. As far as for diatomaceous earth, there's actually a ton of different protocols and ways that you can take it, all of them which are good because That stuff is, in my opinion, remember, I'm not giving you guys medical advice. Please consult your physicians about diatomaceous earth. I'll be surprised if they even know what it is. But anyway, there's a lot of protocols online. You can take it for as little as a week. You can take it for multiple weeks. All sorts of protocols. I like taking it on an empty stomach to really get in there, though it's really great. I've seen it do wonders, by the way, for animals. You put it in their food, and I've literally seen animals that, like, they have all this patchy hair and they're clearly infested with some type of parasite, in my opinion, or something, which is very bad for your health, by the way. That's why I do the anti-parasitic foods. A lot, like I said, most of these foods that you're going to see today are anti-parasitic. Most people don't even think about that, realize that. They're so focused on, oh, I just got to get protein in me, or oh, I just got to get more protein. You know, people focus on that, but it's not my focus. That's only, I think it's overhyped, because the data shows, actually the data shows long-term research that lower protein consumption, that you would live longer. I don't know if you guys were aware of that study. But basically, it's all about getting nutrients and minerals. That's what it's all about. You want to make sure the body is not deficient in literally anything. And we're not just made up of only protein. There's a lot of different nutrients that you need. And that's why, for example, like scurvy, for example. Scurvy, you get scurvy if you're deficient in vitamin C, right? Well, how do you fix vitamin C? You know, vitamin C is the nutrient that it's not protein. You want to look for vitamin C and get your vitamin C levels up. You don't even need a pharmaceutical to fix scurvy. You just need to get your nutrients up. And that goes, in my opinion, for all sorts of different things, from zinc deficiency to, you know, magnesium deficiencies. And I like to get my nutrients from my food. Everybody will try to sell you a supplement. I am not a fan of supplements. Why? Because I've seen all these lab reports, and even people who have been harmed, actually people who, I hate to say this, but like have died, if you've ever done the research about, from certain supplements, because so many of them are contaminated. And I'm not going to name names of companies because, you know, obviously companies would get really mad, and I'm not trying to like say anything negative about a company. I'm just trying to help you guys by giving you the best, most accurate info I can give you. And so you have to make sure to get all your nutrients very, very well balanced. And so that's going to be, in my opinion, more important. So as far as cleaning, you know, so you can read about diatomaceous earth. That's an easy one, very easy. As far as the other two, honestly, these days, there's a lot of information out there. And the only reason that I'm not sharing it right now is because I think you guys know it's against the rules. Don't you find it a little odd that it's a little against the rules to tell people how to kill certain parasites? I think it's a major problem. I actually think that we've been dealing with them for, you know, thousands of years. And they discovered, I believe it was probably around the 1940s, maybe even the 20s, the connection between parasites and health issues. And that's why I think my doctor was shocked, because the level of nutrients that I had in my blood when I would do my blood work was shocking to my doctor. She just couldn't believe it, wrap her mind around it. She said there's just no way that my levels could be that way. But she was looking at my tests and she's like, this is crazy. I don't know how to explain it. But I think a lot of it is that I've made my body so good at absorbing nutrients. And one of the ways that you're good at absorbing nutrients is by lowering the amount of parasites, because they rob you of nutrients. And not only do they rob you of nutrients, they do worse. Then they crap inside of you after they eat your nutrients. And when they crap inside of you, they create more free radical damage. So they're taking your nutrients, so making you deficient, which you're already deficient, most people are. And then while it's making you deficient, it's putting all these free radicals and crapping inside of you and making you dirty and dirtying your blood. And that's where the spiritual aspect comes in, because you're not going to be well connected when your body's that polluted. You're just not going to be. I'm sorry, but you know, it's just not going to happen. The connections come with purity. I discovered that through my own experience, totally by accident. In fact, I was what I was trying to do at the time was heal my body because I was so sick and I was trying to do all these detoxes and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I did this particular special method, totally by accident. In fact, it was I would have never done it. It was, I won't go into the story how it happened, but it was so weird. And I was super close to not doing it. And the truth is, I'm glad I did because it changed my life. I mean, it connected me so much spiritually that it was that day, after many days of cleansing, when I had like an awakening, and I was just shocked. It felt, honestly, guys, it felt like I took some type of drug or something, but I hadn't. I was at my highest purity, and it was bonkers experience. I haven't actually shared it. I thought about sharing it, maybe someday, but it was just wild. And then after that, I wanted to learn where this method came from that I had just undergone, because I knew that the lady who did it, there's no way she came up with this. This would require a level of wisdom that I don't think anybody could just come up with it. Somebody would have to have, somebody was taught, God knows where it came from. But I did ask the lady, and when I asked her, maybe I could share some of the story if you guys want. I mean, yeah, I guess if you want, I could just share it while I'm making this morning health breakfast here, which I know a lot of people don't agree with, and that's okay. You know why? Because it doesn't bother me. I walk my path. I know I'll take whatever repercussions I'm doing to myself, you know? And I think that's the case for all of us. So I'll stick with my vegetables and fruits. I have much better, let's see here. Somebody said, Richard, what website do you go to get vitamin D3? Oh, I would go to, there's a video I made, if you can find the video, somebody could share it with them, where I shared the vitamin D and the vitamin, and boron, the mineral. And I show both of them, which are the two that I actually literally have here. And then I put a link on the bottom of that video. So if you can't find it, we'll have to go back and find it. And then Nicho says, are you a lucid dreamer, Greg? Sometimes. Christine says, yes, please, a story. Oh, okay, please share. Okay. Nicho says, what's the secret method to be pure in our bodies? Well, I've been showing it a lot. That's what everything that I'm showing, from, you know, proper food. You need things that help the body continue to, I hate to use the word detox because people use that. I think they overuse it, to be quite honest with you. And you need a lot of fiber, a lot of clean water, and a lot of hydrogen. Those are like foundational pieces to purifying the body, but also trying to clean it up in general. So you're seeing, this is all the fruit that I picked. Some of it has some spots because they fell. So I'm gonna cut off some of these spots. I'm kind of going through them right now. I always try to grab the ones that are bad first because they seem to attract the fruit flies. And see how they have like little bad spots I'm gonna cut off? Oh goodness, and see all these spots? But we'll salvage some of this stuff. There's a lot of good stuff here. And that's just the way that it is. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so I'll share the story with you guys. All right, and thanks for all the thumbs up, everything. And somebody says, hi Greg, would you share the website for the honey, please? Oh, the honey. Crap, it's downstairs. I've shared it many times. I will have to go grab it in a little bit. I think it's called Eternal Honey, I think. Eternal Honey, the one that I'm using. You just want to make sure it's raw and unfiltered. And I'll go grab it in a little bit because I'm gonna make this right now. But yeah, I think it's called Eternal Honey. And I have a video where I showed it. So basically the story goes like this. So as you guys know, I used to be super, super sick, and I was trying to do everything to find my way. Japanese knife, by the way, because they make the best metals. They make the good stuff. So basically somebody who knew me, somebody very close to me, had somehow ran into this particular style of cleanse that supposedly can help, overcome a lot of medical conditions. And they said they said you should do it, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need to be doing that, because I hope you guys remember this or understand this. You're and my personality is I'm a big skeptic. So when I hear like, oh, we're gonna do this special detox, I'm like, whatever. Like, no, I'm not interested. And this particular person told me, they said, look, they went through it, and they said it was an unbelievable experience. And they kept telling me how amazing the experience was for them. And I was like, okay, that's great. I'm happy for you, but I'm good, right? I'm not going to have the amazing experience you probably had. And again, I'm just being ultra skeptical because that's the way that I am. It's very hard for me to believe things unless I've either seen them or see some good data about it. Just like hydrogen, I was very skeptical too. And so anyway, so this person tells me I need to go do this cleanse. I keep trying to say no. And I guess I'm giving you the long version, huh? And finally they pushed a lot, and they really insisted and just really said, look, I just think that this is a huge thing for your health journey, but also your spiritual journey, which I'd been going through since I was around the age of 7 or 8. So I was like, oh, I wasn't doing it for the spiritual reason, I'll tell you that much. I only did it for the physical health, and I didn't think that I was gonna have any spiritual experience at all. So when I went, this particular lady's in Hawaii, and so that was another one of the problems, right? I'm like, oh, I don't want to travel all the way to Hawaii for this, blah, 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 right? The whole thing just so you know, the whole thing is extremely expensive. It's not a cheap thing. And I'm already fast forwarding here, I ended up learning the method because it impacted me that much. So anyway, so I go to Hawaii, I meet the lady, really nice lady, by the way. I actually really liked her. It's really cool. And so she had a really great setup. In fact, at the time, I remember thinking like, man, I was very tempted many years later. I wanted to buy the house where she was doing this because of the experience in the house. It was just too much, but something bad had happened to the house. And anyway, I wanted to buy it, but I couldn't. But anywho, so the lady tells me to get I really should do a separate video for this, but she told me to get a notebook. And she said, look, we're going to start the whole cleansing process. She kind of walked through a lot of the details, and there's a lot. And by the way, you can't do it on your own. I kind of wished that I could, and after everything that I learned, because I learned the whole method, yeah, not only is it involved, you need to have somebody doing it for you. And there's just no way that you can do it on your own. If you were to see the whole method, you're going to quickly realize that you can't do this one on your own. But that's, anyway, just, I guess, giving you guys a ton of info because I'm just making my breakfast, okay? And so she said, here's a notebook. I want you to really write down any experiences you have, any visions you might have. And I'm like, visions? Like, what are you talking about? What exactly are we going to do here? And so she wanted me to like write everything down. And the thing is, of course, I take the notebook thinking, first of all, I'm not a writer. So I don't even like writing. I'm not good at writing. I'm not a writer. This is the reason that so many people have requested a book. I'm going to try to work with somebody recently who potentially wants to write down basically my whole story, because there's a ton. I mean, it's so weird, especially from a guy like me who's so skeptical, for the stories and the things that have happened to me and the things that I've witnessed have just been like one after another bonkers. And so at some point I thought, this might be good. It might be worth writing down. This is starting to get to that point. And so start doing this cleanse with the lady. Very first day, guys, very first day. Now it begins with, so it's a combination of a bunch of different things, but it's a combination of diet. So she puts you on a specific diet, and the diet is different every day. And the diet is based on, so she's doing colon cleansing, and the colon cleansing is going to be cleaning different parts of your body on different days. So different days, you eat different foods to support the process. And so again, who would have figured this out? I don't know, because if you were to see the detail that it goes into. But me being the skeptical guy that I am, I was like, whatever, right? I just wasn't thinking nothing was going to happen. And so the very first day was really hard. I had never done any colon cleansing, and she uses a system. So there's different types of systems with colon cleansing, just like with hydrogen and just like water filters. And some are definitely better than others by far. And in this particular case, she, good man, you know, this pear. And so she uses the open system, which after all my studies on colon cleansing and purifying the body, is what was the best. Okay, so I'm going through the process. Very first day, I am feeling very uncomfortable. And I say uncomfortable, of course, they put you put the tube in your butt to start putting water in there and cleansing out the colon, right? And then I'll just check in to make sure you guys don't have any questions while I'm doing this. And so I feel this very uncomfortable feeling, as far as almost like, I'm trying to describe the feeling. It's almost like it's not anxiety. It felt like when you're somewhere and you're like, I just got to get out of here. I don't feel good here. Something's not, you know, like you feel something. I don't know how to describe it to you, but I was feeling that feeling, and the thought crossed my mind, if you can believe this. It's like, dude, just forget this. You don't want to do this. And I thought, that's a very weird thought for my brain to have. It's trying to tell me to run away, and like, forget it. I don't want to do this thing anymore. And I'm like, I'm a person that once I make a decision, you know, I make a decision. I'm committed. I'm the kind of guy who is like, if I commit to jump off a cliff or out of a plane, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's just I'm a very committed person. And so I'm on there thinking, I'm seriously thinking I want to give up on this and don't want to do this anymore. And I think at only like 10 minutes had passed, or 15 minutes, and the process takes, each time I believe it's 25 minutes roughly. And so the moment I'm feeling this uncomfortable feeling, guys, I'm not kidding you. It was so instantaneous. Something came out of me, and they have a catcher, so all the stuff that's coming out of you gets caught, and it goes through this tube, and you can see it. It goes right by your face, right by your head. You can see everything that's coming out of you. And something came out of me, and it felt like something out of a movie. And I don't know if this happens for everybody, because according to her, I'll explain that later. So it just comes out, and it feels like literally like maybe like there was something jacked into my head, almost like the movie The Matrix, where they would put this thing in your head, and then you're, you know, and whatever it was, when it came out of me, it was instantaneous. All of a sudden, it was like, you know what it felt like? Here's the best example I could think of. If you've ever drank too much and then you throw up and you feel better, you know, or if you ate something bad and you throw up and you feel better, like it's so immediate, right? It was like that. It was so immediate, whatever it is that came out of me that affected me. And by the time I got off that table and I was all done, I still remember, I will always remember this day. And that was just the beginning. But that one day, I walk up to her kitchen, and I remember her kitchen. She had the most beautiful view of the ocean. Oh, that house. I really wanted that house. And in my mind, guys, there was silence. It felt like peace. And what I hadn't realized up until that moment is how much noise had been in my head, all of our heads. Why was it so quiet? Why was it so peaceful? And I just sat there, and I felt like, I just felt kind of good. You know, I was like, okay, just feel kind of peaceful, kind of good, like not going too crazy into it. I just thought I was just thinking like, this is odd. That's what I was thinking, like, could this really cause such a feeling? Like I almost felt, I'm not going to say like I felt enlightened, but I felt like a step in that direction where you feel like some type of like, I don't know, deep spiritual being where you're just like, whoa, you know, you're just like in total peace or something. It was just kind of wild. So I was like, okay. And I just sat there. I literally just sat there in silence at her kitchen table. And she understood too. So she didn't try to talk to me. She understood that I was going through what she would probably call like a moment. I was having a moment here. And she's just like, let him have it, you know, because that's what happens with a lot of the people who go through this. So she's just letting me go through my process, which was fine, right? Yikes. Found a bunch of worms in this thing. This is exactly why. Yikes. This is exactly why we're cutting all the bad spots out. And I don't even like them to touch the blade. And when they do, that's why I rinse off this knife so much. By the way, the Japanese do the same thing when they're making sushi. But anyway, so I go home. I say home. It was I rented a home. So I go back to the house, and there's all these very specific instructions, and you can't eat anything, and then you can only eat certain food that they provide because it's very specific for day to day, whatever, right? So I'm going through this whole process. Then I go there the second day, but I still really don't have tons to write. I'm just like feeling a few things. It was a third day where I was like, I got to start writing because I was having all these visions. So here's the visions. It began. I started having visions of like, of childhood, but it was mostly like memories of things that had happened to me that I didn't realize had affected me throughout my life to create who I now am. And so I started writing all this stuff down, and with each day it got more pronounced. And somebody was asking a second ago about lucid dreams. Oh yeah, the lucid dreams had begun. I was having all sorts of stuff going on, and I was just kind of shocked, right? Again, the whole thing, I'm still kind of shocked that it's happening. Am I blown away yet? No, I wasn't like, oh, I'm so blown away, this is crazy. It was more like, okay, this is interesting, but it's still not powerful enough, right? I'm always like, not enough, not good enough, whatever. That's why I'm such a, like, dare I say, kind of a perfectionist in certain aspects and certain things. So I think, yeah, like I said, I think the third day I started writing this stuff down. It was the seventh day. And by the way, with each day, it was getting harder. So it was getting harder and harder and more brutal, this detoxification path that I was embarking on here. And then the seventh day, you had to prepare the body. So what she was doing the whole time, of course, I didn't know this at the time. I was just doing whatever she told me because I didn't understand what this whole thing was all about. She was preparing the body for a major detox dump. And if you don't prepare the body, and I didn't listen to her because I was thinking, whatever, I'll just do it. But in time, I realized there was so much wisdom in regards to this method, and she was definitely doing it right. And so what ended up happening, look at this apple. So what ended up happening was, seventh day, she's like, okay, your body's cleared, it's ready to do a dump. And she warned us, don't ever do this. And it's kind of a, dare I say, a secret technique, but I believe it's all over the internet nowadays. And I did have some people who tried to do it the wrong way, and they got so sick. Do not ever do this, please, unless you do it correctly. And my understanding is it could potentially kill you, but that's, yeah, you don't want to do that. So basically, once the body was prepared, what we were going to do is the body was going to go through a specific type of fast to where the liver, like you're consuming no oils, nothing that would affect the liver, the gallbladder, this kind of stuff. Because what ends up happening is the liver, you're trying to make it so inactive that it goes flat, as strange as this sounds. And the moment you consume fatty stuff, it will like activate and swell up when it's activated, fill with blood and stuff. And so what I did after going without certain fats and oils and go through the whole diet, I have the whole thing written down. I haven't done one of them in a while. And so you prepare the body, because then what happens is you take there's certain things that you take, including there's going to be oil, and I believe it was olive oil. Like I said, this was years ago, and I'd have to look at I have the whole list of the whole process. And you take some type of oil at a certain hour, everything's very regimented, to basically get my liver to just, you know, just activate after it's been inactive. And guys, I ain't kidding you, because she told me, and I was skeptical. And she's like, "You're gonna have a bunch of stuff come out of you." I'm like, "Okay," and you're gonna get sick. And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna get sick, right? I'll be fine." She goes, "When you do get sick," she goes, "Run to me." I'm like, "Run to you?" Like, "Yep, you come here when you get sick, and I'm gonna help it go away." And I was thinking, "Okay, sure." And let's see, somebody just said, "What's the secret?" Oh, would you share the website for the? Oh wait, I guess I already read those. Hope I'm not boring you guys with this story, by the way. Comment and let me know that you actually heard it. But this is interesting, because otherwise I don't want to bore you guys. So I do the whole process, and it was all like had to be done at night. And guys, I wake up and I am so sick. In fact, you know what's odd, and this is very embarrassing, actually. I try to be very open with you guys. It felt a lot like when I overdosed a long time ago. And I felt like I was dying. I felt so sick. And I was like, I need to go to her right away. So I call her and I'm like, "I got to come in." And she goes, "Come on in. We're ready for you, you know." So I get there and I immediately get on the table. It's a table for the colon cleansing. And guys, again, I'm not kidding you. The water starts running there. The first moment the water starts coming out of me, like I feel better instantaneously. It was instantaneous. I just could not believe how fast the things would happen. It was just so weird. And so, oh my God, I felt so much better. And the stuff that was coming out of me, guys, I would not expect anybody to believe it. I'm looking at it thinking, I can't believe it. I don't know exactly. Well, one of the things that looked like came out was a bunch of pellets, a ton of them, not a little. And she even made the comment, she goes, "That's a lot." She said, "Not everybody has that much stuff lodged in them." And a lot of them, I was getting visions as they were coming out, by the way. So I was getting the emotional release, but I was getting visions with it. And it appeared to me that the stuff that was coming out of me were, a lot of them were the stuff that I took when I overdosed a long time ago. And I'll let this one ripen a little longer. And it was having a, I don't know how to describe it really, but my body somehow, I think, held on to it in order to save my life. All this stuff that I had ingested. And it was all lodged, I think, in my liver. And so she found a way to release it. And boy, was there a release physically, but even emotionally. That's the part where I started to realize there is a connection between emotions, the human body, health, both mental, physical, and again, even spiritual. That's when I really realized too. It took time because there's more to come. So anyway, so I go through this whole process and I'm just feeling like, it really reminds me of the movie. If you guys have ever seen the movie The Matrix, it reminded me of that movie big time, because it felt like something had been unjacked out of my head and there was like a release, and I don't know, it just felt like The Matrix. And at that moment, after that, I'm still going through the process every day, and the process is supposed to be a 10-day process. By the time I reached 10 days, I don't know what it was. I really don't, and I know she doesn't know either, but I just felt like I needed one more day. And I told her, I said, "I don't know what it is. I just feel like I need one more day." And she's like, "Okay, no big deal. Let's do one more day." So it was 11 days. And this is, in my opinion, what I'm about to tell you is bonkers. This is just my own personal, very, very, my opinion from a guy who's super skeptical. So I'm going through the whole process. Day 10, we're supposed to be done. So she's like, "Come back tomorrow for your one more day that I felt like I just, for whatever reason, I wanted to do." I still can't explain it. I think it's funny nowadays. I think it's funnier now after everything that happened, because I go in there for the 11th day and I go through the cleanse, and I got really emotional on the 11th day. Like lots of tears, lots of emotions, so much stuff going on. And I'm done, and I'm just like, I just want to be in silence. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to write in her journal or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm just going to leave. So I leave, and I go and get, at this point I've realized what I'm eating appears to be important. And I was never a guy who cared about that kind of stuff, meaning that I would just eat whatever. That was always my personality. I never thought that food would play any impact on my mental health, physical health. That's how much of a silly boy I was, right? And so, you know, when we're young, sometimes we're arrogant and things of that nature. And so I get home to the rental, and there was somebody there with me. I think I told you, the person who had told me about this whole process, that had already gone through it. And of course, they're asking me how I'm doing, and I just was like, I just need silence, you know, right now. They were excited, you know, because they wanted to see what I was about to go through. And I sit down. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to put something secret in this smoothie today, guys. I'm sure you guys know this secret. I'm going to show you how to activate it. Natto, this has almost as much protein as beef, but the health benefits are, you know, astronomical. Okay, so someone says, still here listening, enjoying the story. Oh, thank you guys. And Nicho Libre says, not boring at all, Greg. I love to learn this method. I have already done 20 liver flushes. Whoa. Along with a bunch of colon cleansing. It sounds like you've done a lot of this. Not quite finished, but I've had a lot of progress, health and spiritually. And so let's activate this thing. So I go to sit down, and I think I had maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 bites or something. I didn't have a lot. It might have been as little as 1 bite. I tell you what, somebody comment and let me know if you can hear me, because I think I've reached the point here where I don't know if you guys are even hearing anything. So weird. The one time I'm going to share this story, and then it goes bonkers like that. Stuck on you. You got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. 'Cause I'm on my way. All right, I'm going to assume nobody can hear me now. I'm just going to assume that I'm not even online anymore. Nope, nobody, right? I still show one person sticking around. What the heck happened? Okay, let's see. Well, I don't know. Just have to see what happens, I guess. Meanwhile, get my breakfast going. Stuck on you. You got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. 'Cause I'm on my way. Needed a friend. There we go. Get the air bubbles out. Wow, people back? You're back. I hear you now. Oh. Now that was really odd, guys. Okay, that was weird, because on my end, everything looked fine. And everybody kept saying that what's really weird is that I never have this issue. And the one time I decided to share a story like this, that is just too much. Too much. All right. So let's see. Where did I leave off? You are back. Yeah, there's only like, see, everybody's gone now. So weird, right? I don't know what. See, I'll tell you, something's always interfering. Okay, time to blend this thing up. I guess I could finish the story if you guys really want to. Needed a friend. Okay, let's see here. All right. So does anybody remember where I left off if you wanted to hear the rest of it? Though nobody else is going to hear it. Let me blend this. It's going to make some noise. Let's do this. Yeah, do you guys find it odd that it cut out right when it cut out? I don't know. I'm not trying. See, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything weird. Never really had anything quite like that happen. Any ideas? Yeah, we're all gonna. I'm gonna end up I'm probably gonna end up becoming a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I don't believe all the stuff that you see or read out there, but I know some of it's real because I've had things happen to me. Oh, that's what I was forgetting. Crap. See, I knew I was forgetting something. Where are you? Where's my extra stuff here? See, sometimes things get moved around. All right, let's put a little bit of hydrogen chia seeds in there, shall we? All right, where are we at here? It says, you were saying that after your last day you eat something and you wanted silence. What? That's where I left at? That far ago? That's like, geez. That's practically the beginning of the story. I don't know if I'll have time to share the whole thing this time then. I might have to share the rest of it next time or something. It's crazy. That's where it cut off. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna make some chia seeds. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it because you guys need to know. Put a little more clean water in this thing. All right. So, gosh, I can't believe that's where it left off. I mean, if you guys really want me to keep going, I can kind of go back, but I feel like I should just save it for another day, I guess. But simple fact is, I was sharing the part. Oh, you know what? Let's do, so I'm going to show you guys how to do the chia seeds. So you always put the water in first. Of course, I recommend super clean water, as you guys know. Fill it up halfway. Now let me go grab the chia seeds so I can show you how I do this technique. Because if you don't do it right, and I remember thinking like, oh, it doesn't need to be done this way. I'll do it some other way. And I did it my way and it didn't work, and this is the best way. So this is what you do. You take the chia seeds, full of minerals, full of proteins, full of good stuff. And then I'm gonna go 1 scoop, and they're actually really pretty. They almost look like a snow globe when you do it. And then I'm going to put 3 in this 1 liter jar. And then immediately, I'm not even going to close the bag because if you don't do it fast, now I got to fill up the rest of the jar. If you don't do it quick, it gets all clumped up and doesn't work. And then, snow globe time. Then you shake it. Whee! Isn't that cool? But the thing is, you got to keep shaking it. Just watch. If I set it down for just 30 seconds, you'll see what happens. This is part of the process of making the chia seeds. So you got to do it again. So you got to constantly shake it every so many seconds so that it will not clump up and it'll be nice and even. And then I can let it go and it's fine. I'll put it in the fridge and it'll be good for like the next 3-4 days while I make these smoothies. I just keep putting them in there. And I'm about to finish my smoothie here, and then I'll answer any questions, or if we talk about the story again or whatever, we can do that. Okay, let's blend this up. That's good enough. All right. To me, this looks like it needs to be blended up more. Looks pretty chunky. Let's do this again. Then I put my vitamin D in the smoothie. As you just saw, I put about between 5,000 and 10,000 IUs. Look at these chia seeds. Now they're nice and even. And you know what? Let's pour some in here. Excuse me. Put this back in the fridge. And then we're going to blend it up again because you got to blend up those chia seeds, grind them down. Get them all mixed in the smoothie nicely. Putting the hemp parts again, more omega-3s, 6s, proteins, fats, minerals from your food, from nature. I think hemp parts might be, it's definitely one of the top 10 superfoods. Natto is one of the top 2 for sure. And then chlorella is a really good one in my opinion. And we're almost there, guys. Sorry about this. And then I'll be able to look at the phone, answer any of your last questions. I don't know what happened there, what ruined the whole story, right? But I'll share the rest if you guys want. Let's see here. Probably shared a bunch of stuff that was personal that nobody ended up having to hear, so maybe that was a good thing. Maybe someone was going to be judging me harshly, which, by the way, happens a lot these days. It's really sad, you know, you try to do what you can to help people, but sometimes people are their own worst enemy. As crazy as that sounds. Everything's about corruption, money, and yada, yada, yada. All right, let's have this. Any last things? I'll let you go. You guys want to hear the health benefits of natto? Okay. Yeah, I definitely have parasites come out of me. Rocio says parasites came out of you. Yeah, but it wasn't so much the parasites, it was the way that they jacked out of my brain. Now I'm embarrassed to share everything. I'll have to wait for another time. I can't believe I did that. It's better when it's in the flow of the conversation for me. Maybe I'll let you guys go. There wasn't a ton of people in the room. And maybe I answered your questions. If anybody's got any final questions, it's a good time to ask. But yes, I did have parasites come out of me. Super clear-minded. Kind of incredible. And ultimately a better connection to source. Let's see here. I see a new icon. Interesting. It's great you shared it, Greg. It says focus, focus. Oh, thank you. Does it help kidneys? Yeah, I mean, I have a whole kidney protocol. The cleansing, in my opinion, is good for kidneys. Someone says, we're all human. We all can have this problem. Nietzsche Libre says, do you recommend any brand of diatomaceous earth? As long as it's food grade diatomaceous earth. And thank you, guys. Small room, but it's true. We're all humans. We're only human after all. All right, guys. Like I said, if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to let you guys go. All right. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys next time.